some predictions for Steve Perry for the new year in 2020. I'll tell you all about it coming right up. Stay tuned. Hello everybody, Gary Stuckey here. Welcome back to another episode of Steve Perry News on this final day of the year of 2019, December 31st. And it's kind of feeling cool out here. This wintry time. See the blue sky up there? And it's probably 50-something degrees here in Alabama. Hey, not too shabby. But it's been a great year for Steve Perry and Steve Perry fans, right? And Steve has released some singles this year off of Traces from last year that he released in October of last year. And We're Still Here reached number 14 earlier in the spring. You know, had that awesome video, remember? And the making of, behind the scenes, you know, some different videos that he posted, you know, behind the scenes. He appeared online, answered some questions, answered a couple of mine. I was so honored. And it's, you know, a lot of things that we were excited about, but here recently, the song Silver Bells, you know, Steve released the Christmas music, and then the song made it, it debuted at number 16 and worked its way up to number 11, but unfortunately this week it drops out of the top 20 to number 21. So it didn't make it to the top 10, unfortunately, but hey, that's okay. Congratulations, Steve, on that single, making it that far. And, you know, it's the third highest Steve Perry song ever. So, way to go, Steve. And as far as the future goes, in the year 2020, with 2020 vision, I call it, you know, we can look into the future and see, maybe, what do we think is going to happen? Well, here's what I think is going to happen. Some people may disagree with some of these things. We'll see, right? But new music for Steve, I do think it's coming sometime next year. I would say in the springtime. You know, a new album maybe, or some singles. You know, we can look forward to that. You know, but maybe a preview sometime in the spring is my guess. But also, Steve did say he was going to finish up some loose ends from the Traces album. So maybe, just maybe, he'll release a single. I'm still wanting him to release Easy to Love and do a video. Yeah, you know, I'd written a video about that song, you know, my ideas, you know. So maybe he could surprise us with that. Excuse me. But we'll see what happens. But a new single, a new video from Traces, who knows, right? We'll have to wait and see what happens. And then also maybe Steve will appear on some kind of soundtrack from a movie this year. That would be my guess, my prediction. And sometime in the summertime. We'll wait for that. And but it's always awesome to hear Steve. You know, he comes out with these surprises. He's dropping them here and there, you know, just out of the blue. You can't really predict Steve. You know, I try, right? And I'm sure he'll have some new merchandise from his store. And but here's the biggie. Here's the biggie that some people always kind of argue about. You know, because if I ever put Steve Perry and Journey in the same headline on a video, it doesn't even have to do with a reunion or anything. People will get bent out of shape and they'll go, no, there's no way it's going to happen. Never. And I'm thinking, I didn't even say anything about that. You know, so, but here you go. You know, people can have opinions. People can. Here's the number one thing, though, about life. People change for the good, for the bad, you know, for worse, whatever. People forgive. People get over stuff. You know, the Eagles broke up. They said when hell freezes over, they'd get back together. Well, I guess it froze over because they got back together, right? So just because you say this, you know, you say, I'm never going to do this ever. And then you change your mind. Steve said he was never going to do another album. And, of course, he met Kelly, and she changed his mind about some things. things probably that we haven't seen yet. But I do know that she changed his mind on some things, and maybe, just maybe, there's some other things that she changed his mind on. Because life is short, and forgiveness is a good thing. And I do know that Journey is going on tour this year in 2020. Going to be with the Pretenders, and it's going to be great. Arnell, of course, is with them, but you never know about Steve showing up. You never know. The invitation is always there, right? But they do have new music coming out. Journey does. You never know what that might include, And the door has always been open. And Neil has said it, And maybe when the time is right, Steve will just walk into that door. He doesn't have to. The world will not end if he doesn't. It's an option, right? It's there. And Neil also mentioned a big worldwide tour. He mentioned it over on Instagram that will happen for the 50th anniversary, which will be in 2023. So he's looking way into the future. And will that include Steve? Who knows? But the future's wide open. And Steve is his own man, of course. He doesn't have to have Journey. And I'm looking forward to new music from Steve coming up this year. But as long as Journey's out there playing, that's cool. And the idea is always out there. The door is open. They've said it's always been open. So that's a good possibility in my book, And I'm not going to stop believing. That's just how I am. And we'll see what happens with the predictions. Journey was inducted to they were nominated for the Songwriters Hall of Fame, which is going to happen in June, right? So those guys, Neal Schon, Steve Perry, and Jonathan Cain will be there, and maybe, just maybe, that will spark up some things, some memories, just like it did at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm just saying. But whatever you do, everybody, don't stop believing, and Happy New Year, and God bless you. Until next time, this is Gary Stuckey.